Hi. How
Hello.
are you?
Good. How are
Hi.
you? I'm pretending like we didn't just have that chat.
How are you again?
How are you again? I'm good. I'm good. As you can tell, I'm trying to do everything today, and I see that today you are trying to chase a plot bunny.
I am. Who is she? A new idea?
Right?
I've
I
never
love
known
that
this
for you.
before. Never
I
done
feel
this
like
before.
the timing of it is so good as well. So it's
Yeah.
just perfect when you're like, I've given my book to other people and I can't touch it right now. So
Yeah. I think there's something to be said for I think having my book be kind of in a rest period kind of made maybe my mind more open to other things, and I was reading
the brain
things.
refresh.
Yeah, brain refresh. I just had a moment to not focus on Project Gemstone, and maybe that cracked the door open to something new.
Yeah, I love that. I love that for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Um, should we introduce ourselves? Because I sort of skipped that part, but
I suppose.
we're the lazy gang. We're pretty inconsistent with streaming, but we do try to do it every now
We
and
do.
then.
We try really
Um,
hard.
yeah, we are trying to do once a month. I think we just skipped last month because
We
I
couldn't
was
be
away
bothered.
a bit, and yeah, we couldn't be asked. There we go. I'm Malin, you're on my channel. As you can see, I try, and today I'm going to try to do everything, so I'll explain that. And I have my lovely co-host with me. I always never know where to try to, like, Hannah.
Yeah. Hi everyone. I'm Anna Robbins. I'm a fantasy writer who sometimes makes videos. And yeah, I just finished my beta reading for Miss Malin yesterday. So I'm taking today as kind of like a reset day. Try and get myself together here and maybe do a little brainstorming. So yeah.
Nice, exciting. And we basically are going to be doing, I think, 2 hours and a half. And I hope that's okay, but I've prepared sprints that are 35 minutes long because
Mhm.
I'm doing an experiment right now. I'll explain very briefly
Ooh.
before saying hi in the chat. So I'm doing a productivity experiment, I guess, where I couldn't figure out what to work on next because I can't touch Space Princess right now because I've just gotten my feedback from both my critique partners, including Anna. And I know myself, I need to let the comments simmer for a little bit before I
Yeah.
start diving in them. So otherwise, I feel myself being defensive about certain things when in reality, I need to have a clean mind and
Mhm.
like the right mindset going back in. So I want to take a little break from it. So I have so many other projects I could be working on. So I made the list of all of them and I was like, I'm going to be working 30 minutes on each, one at a time, and force myself to stop after that time and go to the next one.
Yeah.
The timers are 35 minutes because I know myself I need 5 minutes to fuck around
Yep.
to
We always have to include a little fuck around time.
bathroom, grab a glass of something, whatever, like
Yeah.
stare at the screen and do nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the experiment I'm working on. I have 5 tasks that I'm rotating, and that's what I'll be doing today. Let me say hi in the chat. I have not said hi to the chat. And we have Keiko. Hello.
Hi.
Hyped without end because the next game of the game series my fanfic is based on, gets a trailer maybe this evening, but definitely gameplay on Tuesday. Ooh,
Wow.
do we know? Do we know what the game is? I don't know.
I'm sure that they have told us at some point. I know we've discussed it, but it's not coming to me.
I'm not very big on video games unless it's like really big ones like Baldur's Gate 3 I know of.
Mhm.
Uh, my husband is big on video games, but I'm not, so I know nothing. So tell me. Oh, Dragon Age. There we go. There's
Yes.
a new Dragon Age game. Okay. I have heard of that. I'm not completely
Yeah.
nice. So I'm writing like a mad woman today because I want this chapter done and posted this evening. Well, you have come to the right place. We do
Yes.
chat a bit, but we are going to try to be productive as well.
Yeah, we're gonna try and turn our brand around a little bit today.
Turn off brand around. I don't know how well that's gonna go.
Yeah.
Hi, Marta.
Hi.
Hello. Is a plot bunny a new idea? So we had this chat on a Troublemakers live stream where they
Mhm.
were talking about brain rot. But the thing is, I think Katie used this at some point and it just caught on in our specific community. But like no one else uses that term outside of our community to describe an idea that plagues you. It's not like a
Mhm.
brand new idea, it's just an idea that keeps coming back and haunting you. And I think we Googled it, and plot bunny is the term generally accepted because it like reproduces very quick.
It grows and grows and grows and
It
suddenly takes over
multiplies
your
and it
entire
hops
lawn.
around. It hops around in your brain. So I guess that's
Yeah.
why I think you can probably Google it. I think it's like on Know Your Memes or something. I can't remember what, like an internet
Mhm.
slang thing.
Yeah.
What is the everything you're doing, Malin, and what does this plot bunny involve, Anna? So yes, I feel like I've explained sort of what the everything was. It's just I
Mhm.
have so many projects that I need to work on. I need to outline book 2 of The Art of Summoning Demons. I need to finish the draft for Knights of Death. I need
Yes.
to what else do I have on my list? I need to start revising the basic round of revision for Lockhart and Beckett.
Yep.
And I also have a plot bunny idea I'm trying to develop. So I'm
Spinning the
rotating.
plates.
Yeah, exactly. And you have a plot bunny as well. I don't know whether
I
you want to say
do.
anything.
I probably won't say a lot because it is so new. I was talking to Malin about this yesterday where I really just have it, it is vapors at this point. It's in the ether. It is just vibes. It's so new that I don't have very much in the way of plot or character, so I'm just chasing the plot bunny at this point. But it's a new idea that has me in a chokehold, and it's dark fantasy, I think. So I am swinging back the other way. I kind of, as a writer, like do this big pendulum swing between like sweet, cozy fantasy and then like just dark filth.
But
So we're swinging the other way.
you're on the fantasy spectrum. Like it's
Yeah.
just you just go from one end to the other on it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I think it's always going to be fantasy with me, but we're covering the entire spectrum.
exactly. And also Marta wants to know if you cut your hair or is it
Oh,
tied up. I think it's
thank
just
you.
tied up.
It's just in a bun.
And that it looks amazing today. I agree.
Thank you. Thank you.
Uh, that's such a cool experiment. Please tell me this is going to be your next vlog too. I am vlogging it. Yes, I have no accountability to myself unless I film myself.
I'm so excited that you're doing a video out of it.
The
That's really
only
cool.
way I finish something I said I was going to do is if I'm vlogging it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I have no idea what I'm going to do for a video this month. I feel like I
you
need something
could
kind of like quick and easy because I'm going to be beta reading for most of the month, which I'm not really going to vlog. So
you
I
could just do like
need.
a basic month vlog, or you could
Mhm.
do you could talk about your plot bunny idea if you want to expand on it, or
Could, yeah.
um I don't know. You can do a sit down and chat type of video.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm leaning towards. I just need to pick the topic.
Mm. I feel like we're talking about a lot of interesting things this month as well, so there must be something in there.
I can
That,
distill something, right?
yeah. Hi Morgana, how's it
Hi.
going? Dragon Age, we've
Mhm.
established that. They also announced on Thursday that they changed the title from Dragon Age Dreadwolf to Dragon Age The Veilguard, and everyone hates the the new title.
The.
I'm assuming the new title. I'm gonna guess. That happened to me a few days ago, but luckily fanfic got me back to the task at hand, the fanfic. Nice.
Yeah.
And some excitement for the dark fantasy.
I'm excited too. I've been working on Gemstone since 2021, so I feel like enough time has passed where it's starting to become
Hmm.
interesting to me again.
Yeah, I think it'll be a nice complete change of pace as well, going from cozy to dark fantasy.
I
You could
think
make a
so.
video about that. You could talk about, I don't know.
I
I'll
could.
stop trying to come up with
No, I
ideas.
appreciate the brainstorming.
Crystal says hi. Hello, how's it
Hello.
going? I mean, my two main problems I alternate between are adult dark fantasy and cozy witchy middle grade. So I
Yeah.
feel like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
MC tag for your plot bunny idea. That's a
Oh,
good.
there's an idea, Marta. I forgot about the main character tag. Hmm.
I think,
I
do
like
you feel like you
this.
have enough for your main character, or do you think that could help you get more about your
I
main character?
I think both. So last night I went on a absolute tear and made a Pinterest board. And started making a dabble file. So that's how you know it's real.
You have to
Um,
you have to make a mood board from your Pinterest board and like send it to us.
so I do think I'm getting some ideas, and I do think the main character tag would also force me to sharpen those up. So I think that's very interesting. Yeah.
That would be good. Yeah. I did my brainstorming for my plot bunny as well a little bit, and I think
Hmm.
I'm not sharing them yet because I need to think about them a little bit, but I think I have
Hmm.
names for my two characters.
Good. Yeah.
I was like, I don't have names, and that was my biggest problems. Now that I do, I'm gonna try to think about a project name as well. I feel like that's my next
Hmm.
task. I don't have a project name, and it's currently just the fantasy plot bunny.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I did come up with some character names last night, and so it's just characters book right now.
yeah, yeah. I'm so excited about this. That would be a fun
I
video.
I do not get new ideas very often, so I'm excited.
And that's actually an excellent segue into
Oh, I didn't even
the
plan
topic of
it.
today. I'll get back to this, but yeah, I was sort of thought that was a good topic to cover because I don't know. I feel like we often try to come up with a little theme every time we do one of these streams, but we very
Mhm.
often digress from the theme anyway. So
Yeah, we make no promises that we will stay on task.
exactly. Also, this is just so funny. Projects not.
No, they are both my problems and my projects.
Why is that like a song title? Like, what is it? I write something, not tragedies.
Oh, I write sins, not tragedies. What is it?
Is that what
I'm
it is?
butchering it. The Fall Out Boy, right? Or is it
Yeah, I
Panic?
was like, I write projects, not problems.
Yeah.
I don't know why that made me
Uh,
laugh by itself, you know?
That's funny.
Um, Morgan is currently in a murder mystery era. I love
Ooh.
that for you, but I have a lot of fantasy ideas I'm too scared to write. So mystery and romance are my comfort zones at the moment. That's so funny because I'm the
Mm.
opposite of you, Morgana. Like I feel more comfortable writing fantasy-ish. I'm more of a contemporary fantasy girly, but my
Mhm.
plot bunny is a full fantasy. Um, but a murder mystery terrifies me because you really
Yeah.
have to work it backwards is what I've heard. You're meant to first know what actually happened, who did it and why, and then backwards go into like, all of your red herrings and everything. And
Yeah.
I don't think I'm smart enough to do it. I just don't think I can do that.
Yeah, dropping all the clues along in a way that will be satisfying at the end, but not give it away
Yeah.
too soon. Hard.
I'm terrified of doing it completely wrong. And so the only way I've ever approached it is by mixing it up with a fantasy slash murder mystery inside of the fantasy thing.
Yeah.
um, which I feel like is sort of more forgivable because it's like, oh, this is in the main genre, so it's sort of fine if the
Mhm.
villain doesn't make
Same.
sense.
Same.
So yeah, and yes, clearly a Freudian slip there. Yeah.
A true one. A true one.
So based on this birth of an ID topic, I do have two questions, and that's it. We're not gonna do too much. I'm gonna pop up the first one, but I think we'll jump into a sprint first and then answer it. I think that's the best
Sure.
way.
Yeah.
So the question is, how do you get your ideas for new projects? As in, like, where do they come from? Is it like TV shows, movies, etc.? And do you have some examples of that, which we briefly talked about yesterday, which is how we were like, let's make this the topic of
Yeah.
today.
We can yap about this.
Yeah, exactly. And if the chat wants to answer as well, that'd be great, so that we can discuss that topic.
Mhm.
I have some sprints ready. Let me
Question mark?
pretty sure I prepared them. Yeah, I did. Okay. Share screen. Which one did I prep for this? I think. Is this the one? Yeah, so I've got a first one I thought I would do, which is just 15 minutes to start us on. Mostly because I need to do my thumbnail for the Storyteller's Hearth stuff. And I thought like 15 minutes and I'll just finish that and then I can get into the rest.
And then we're doing the list of the real to-dos.
Exactly.
Great. This is
So
gorgeous.
if we're happy to start us, yes, it's from obviously the Hexed Hourglass, aka Jess, aka Jod. So gorgeous as always. All right, I'll get us started on this. Good
Sounds
luck,
good.
everyone. Boo. Hey, how did that go for you?
Good. I did some journaling. I've been meaning for like the past 2 weeks to write in my journal, and so I finally was like, okay, it's
Nice.
happening. We're really trying to work on our journaling habits. So yeah, that was that for me. How about
Nice.
you?
I managed to make the thumbnail for the story tells her really I struggle with too many words. Words are hard. The write-a-thon that's happening,
Yes.
in on the 22nd of June. So yeah, I made the thumbnail, but then I was like, oh, I actually don't really know about preparing the stream while I'm already streaming on StreamYard. And I was
Hmm.
like, am I gonna break StreamYard? So I didn't try to do that. I just, got the
I'm
stuff
sure it's
ready.
been done at some point, but I
I'm sure it's
do.
probably fine, but I've not had the best of luck. Sometimes with StreamYard, so I was like, I'm not gonna poke the bear. I'm gonna leave
Yeah.
it.
Leave it be.
So yeah, I did that, and then because I couldn't set it up, and I had like 5 minutes left, I was like, oh, I want to set up a new Instagram post because I'm starting revisions for Lockhart and Beckett. So I was like, I would like to make like maybe a little Instagram post
Mm,
introducing my main character Rose, because she's quite different from Olive, my main character from The Art of Summoning Demons, and so I just want to get more mood board stuff out and just sort of, I don't know. Have a little bit of vibes.
exciting.
So yeah,
Well, I'll be checking that out because I love your Instagram post.
thank you. It's been just mood boards recently because that's easier. So it's just like
Hey,
check some images together. I don't have to think about anything clever.
big payoff though. Like they're so fun.
Yeah, I do enjoy a good mood board, and it does help streamline an idea, I find.
Yes. Yeah.
Talking about which, I believe we have some answers in the chat already. Should we both of us answer first this question, and then I'll go through
Sure.
the chat. Do you want to start or should I start? How
You
comfortable
go
do you feel?
ahead. Kick
Okay.
us off.
Okay, so for me, it can come from literally fucking anywhere.
Yeah.
I I feel like media in general works for me. I've never had an idea by itself. I've never had an idea that's just popped into my brain out
Mm.
of nothing. I've
Hmm.
always needed that little bit of I'm watching a TV show and then suddenly I'm like, damn, this side character that's there for like one scene and 2 words is pretty hot. I want to write a love interest in this new story.
Yeah.
There's always an obsession with complete side characters that have like nothing to do with the rest of the show that I do enjoy.
That's amazing.
Um, and as an example, actually, literally one of my ideas that I've never developed, so it has a lot of notes. I could develop this one day, but I've just not touched it in a long time. I literally got obsessed with this character from an episode of Bones, and it's like I don't know if there's any Bones fans in the chat, but essentially Booth, the main guy in Bones, at some point goes to chat to an ex-friend who used to be a priest but is now a bartender because he
Mm.
doesn't like being a priest anymore. And I was obsessed with that character. And he is like there in 2 episodes, and I think he dies. And then he's not there again.
Needed to give him a better story.
And in my head, I developed from that like a whole idea. I have like a book idea that I want to work on one day that I've not touched in a really long time. So this is not a plot bunny. This is not like the
Mm.
one that I'm talking about right now. But I want to do one with phantom cities underneath our actual cities, and there's like portals that allow ghosts to pass, and
Ooh.
essentially there's like a sort of underground, association of people who
Hmm.
put the ghosts back where they belong,
Yeah.
or and close the gates, etc. And so my character in my head, I had like this whole idea of my character goes to this bar that caters to these people specifically. So a very
Mm.
like supernatural vibes type of bar,
Yeah.
where the bartender is that guy essentially.
I love it. It sounds like such a Malin book. Like it just makes a lot of sense.
And there's probably a reason I've not written it is because I have had a lot of similar ideas that I've, prioritized instead of this one. Like, I love the
Yeah.
idea of gates to other worlds. I do that almost in every single fucking book I've made. Anyway, so, but that's just to give an example of how a random thing can birth an
Mhm.
idea for me. And
Yeah.
similarly, my current plot bunny is, I've told you this, from this manhwa I've been reading on Menta. So it's like Webtoon, but it's a different app. And I'm obsessed with the romance in it. And it's based in this like very loose era of time because you can't, the costuming changes all the fucking time.
Yeah.
It's just like, is this pre-revolution French or is this modern days? Who
Yeah.
can tell? So that's like the latest one that's inspired me. So at the moment, that's the media that works for me. How about
Amazing.
you?
Yeah, I think, if I had to pick, like, they've all come from very different places, but usually
Yeah.
it is something to do with, like you said, like, a character that I don't feel done with, and
Yes.
I feel like I want more from.
Yeah.
Like, the very first book-length project that I, like, really finished was, like, a total ripoff of The Host, which, by the way, we're reading in August for Nostalgia Train. Let me
Exciting.
just plug that, because I wasn't done with some of those characters that had, like, a little bit of a, like, prequel kind of thing,
Mm.
like, their story kinda happened before the book, and I was like, "But that's more interesting to me, their part of the story," and so, that was a, like, direct ripoff. Poppy was a D&D character that I made for a
Yes.
one-shot, and
That's
when the
such a
one-shot was
fun
over, I was not
origin.
done. I was not done playing her, and all of a sudden I knew who the side characters in her story were going to be, and I just knew, like, I cannot put her back in a drawer. Um,
Did was Poppy a plot bunny? Was it an idea that kept plaguing you, or was it more like I know that I want to focus on this, but it wasn't like it keeps coming back and I can't ignore it type of thing?
I knew pretty immediately after we played the one shot that I was gonna try and write her into a book. Because the story I saw for her was diverging away from D&D,
Yeah.
and I was suddenly, like, world building my own world that she would inhabit, and so very clearly, like, she doesn't belong in this campaign anymore, like, I'm suddenly building my own entire thing.
Which is so cool. That's
Yeah,
such a
so
nice
it was really
evolution for
fun. Yeah, Anareth she's a Kalishtar artificer, uh, in D&D, and Nareth was her Corey Angel.
I
And
love that.
so Luke role played Nareth. So Nareth's character really comes from Luke. He kind of built his voice, and I just
Oh,
stole it.
that's so funny. So, as in, like, he was role playing as this character who's essentially become Poppy's best friend. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely set up their dynamic where he's kind of like the more nervous, um, proper one, and
He,
she's kind of not the one that doesn't listen to him.
yeah, he's the C3PO to her R2D2.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah,
my
that's
favorite dynamic.
I think that's how I explained it to Luke. I was like, "He's C3PO, but he's an owl."
Yeah. I love that. I'm curious what the chat does when it comes to getting their ideas for new projects. And we've had some answers while we were sprinting. So
Mm.
let's have a little look. Keiko says, very hard to explain because it's kind of from everywhere. But the newest shiny new story was from fantasy pictures that I saw in a video, and I will recreate the scenes depicted in the story for sure.
Mm.
That's very cool. Yes, and one thing that we were saying yesterday as well was it's often you have a scene that replays in your head
Yeah.
that won't leave you, and that's like the spark that the idea comes from. And it's like, okay, I know this scene will happen somewhere. I don't have the
Yeah.
rest of it.
Completely. Yeah, that's exactly the place I'm in right now where I have, like, one setup.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't even have a whole book to go around it, and we'll see.
Yeah. And for Crystal, it's usually movies or music or TV. Yeah, same. For example, I just watched Loki and then all the Marvel movies he is in, and now I'm rocking 7 chapters deep of My Enemies to Lovers side piece. Amazing.
Love
Seven
this, Crystal.
chapters. Crystal, 7 chapters is more than a plot bunny at this point. It is a full-blown story. You're actually doing it. It's really
Yeah,
impressive.
that's a good chunk.
And then there was some love for Crystal's project and the fact that she already has
Yeah.
7 chapters, which is impressive. Haven't stopped since yesterday. Oh my god.
Wow, so you've done 7 chapters in like 24 hours?
That's crazy. That is so quick. That's a plot bunny to me. That's like
Yeah.
the most intense version of that is my experience with Nano when I decided, nope, I'm gonna write this story, and I wrote a really fucking long outline, having never outlined anything before in like
Yeah.
1 evening.
I love that when it just like has you by the throat and it's like, I'm not gonna let you
Yeah.
go.
Smarter doesn't murder me. I did sleep. Okay.
Good, good.
Morgana says my main source is music. I often listen to a song and picture a scene in my head, which I build from. However, sometimes I get them from movies too, where I think the ending could have been different.
Mm,
Yes, and I do feel like a lot of this scene won't leave me are based off music. Even if the idea initially comes from something else, it then develops with music I listen to, where I'm
yeah.
like, oh, I can picture this scene happening to this song.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's very visual.
Yeah. Music is what actually got me to write again after I had taken a many years writing break.
Oh,
After graduating school, I didn't think I was ever gonna write again, to be honest.
and here you are.
And then I heard a song that kind of transported me right back to the book, the sci-fi book that I was writing in high school. And I was like, oh, shoot, I think I have the bug again.
Yes, it's a good bug to have.
hmm
But yeah, this obviously made me laugh. New idea. What's that?
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Never heard
usually
of her.
me.
I don't know her. But in a more serious answer, Marta says, I don't really have a method. Sometimes things pop up in my brain when I'm doing random stuff. I don't get a lot of new ideas, though. I'd like to get better at that. Yeah, but the thing is, I wasn't even thinking about trying to get an idea on purpose.
Mm.
This is just to me like what happens. But I get that sometimes people might be trying to summon an idea. And
Yeah. And both are valid. Like, even if you have to sit down and you kind of like manufactures the wrong idea, but like it's not as organic and you
yeah,
build it from scratch and you really sit down and do like that ideating on purpose, like that idea is still just can be just as exciting as one that just like comes into your head, I think.
I just don't know how to summon an idea because I feel like I've been pretty lucky, or like my brain just loves to come up with random shit all the time, and
I love that.
I just will have ideas. But the problem is often they don't have a leg to stand on. That's my main issue. It's more how
Mm,
do I come up with an idea that I think is going to become more solid? That's usually where I rely more on my plot bunnies. I'm like, okay, this keeps coming back. I need to build upon this.
yeah.
Um, but yeah.
Yeah. I think it was helpful for me to think about what am I in the mood to write about?
Mm.
Because then I will very quickly get invested in something if I'm kind of already leaning in that
Yeah.
direction. Like I have been thinking the past little while about my old dark fantasy because I have been
Yes.
meaning to kind of redo that one from scratch while Gemstone is out and about. And so I have been thinking about dark fantasy kind of in the back of my mind. So I think I was kind
Yeah.
of already primed to have this spark just light.
Yeah. I think also if you are thinking about a certain type of theme and then you start reading more along those lines or watching more movies along those
hmm
lines, and then you sort of get more into that mood, it's just
Yeah,
a self-fulfilling prophecy at some point. Yeah.
agreed. Yeah.
Like for me, I think possibly having written my space opera first draft, I then finally entertained the possibility that I could do world building for a high fantasy story.
Yes, you absolutely could.
But I think I've been very restrictive with this idea because I don't read high fantasy in the pure sense of it. Like, I don't read
Mhm.
epic fantasy because I'm not into it. I find it boring.
No, yeah,
And actually, I'm more into that type of place where it's like in between romantasy and high fantasy, and it's like it
same.
meets in the middle. It's not like romantasy in the sense of 75% romance and 25% world building and plot. It's more
Yeah,
50-50.
we need a 50-50 split in this house. Yep.
Yeah. And I
Same.
don't I find it hard to find recommendations for that. Like there's not
It
many
is, yeah.
TikTok videos or whatever that are like, here's some books that have the perfect balance of 50-50. Or sometimes they will have recommendations and I'm like, I'm not interested in that plot. Like I don't want to read it.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel that pain because I have the same taste as you, as we know. And so when I do find books like that, it's like, oh, I treasure them.
We're the mummy girls. We want
Yeah.
as much of the romance as the action and adventure.
Yeah. I shout out this series all the freaking time, but I'll shout it out again. The Fireborn series by Rosaria Munda is, I think, that perfect blend where it's like super angsty, but it's very political.
I feel like I actually, funnily enough, saw a TikTok video about it really recently of someone recommending
Yeah.
that.
It
And
came
I'm
out
pretty
a
sure I
couple
saved
years
it,
ago.
but have not downloaded it.
It's like it got really popular again because of all the comparisons to Fourth Wing, because in my opinion, it's
Because it
like
has dragons, right?
if you wanted Fourth Wing but good,
Fair.
it's fantastic.
Okay, I'm checking
It's
whether.
technically YA, but like they're written like 22-year-olds, so just pretend that they're older.
Okay, I was going to say that might have been why I would have ignored it because I don't really read YA at all anymore. Like,
Same.
I
Yeah.
continue series I've started that I really am enjoying, or if there's like an author that I know I love the work of anyway, I will try it anyway. But
Mm,
I'm not really reading YA because I feel like now I really cannot connect anymore. I've passed
yeah.
the age 30. I feel like my the potential for me to connect to the characters has dwindled down too much.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely, in my opinion, like if it had been published maybe nowadays, maybe it
Mm,
would have been allowed to be new adult because it's really these
yeah,
characters at the beginning of their political careers and they are kind
right,
of public figures in this world. So it really
right.
does have adult themes.
Yeah, okay, I see. So it is
Yeah.
actually technically more new adult, but
I
bookshops
just
refuse
in
to
my
use
head I
that.
just retcon
Therefore.
it that they're like 21 and not 17.
And also Marta said that during the sprint she made herself a drink and updated her weekend vlog real quick. Writing
Yay.
during the next sprint, I promise. No worries, because that's why I like a short 15 minutes first and then doing the slightly longer ones.
Mhm.
Let me go a little bit faster through the comments so we can jump into.
Sorry, I was yapping. I was yapping
No, me
about
too. That's
Fireborn.
why I'm saying yes to Bones. That sounds so fun. I want to read that. I think that was based on some of the ideas we were talking about. Obsessed with a Scarborough Fair cover? I
Oh, is
have
that a
no.
music?
Okay, I was going to say I have no idea what this refers to. Is this about the music that is inspiring you? Scenes in the head that won't stop. Yeah. Um, GRRM, George R. R.
Oh.
Martin.
Mhm.
Okay, had the same with the stocks. Yeah, I needed to read the rest of the sentence to realize this was not like the name of a book, but the name of an author. Finding the Moscow's drink, summer, snowfall, and he couldn't stop thinking about it. Oh, I didn't know
Oh.
that. I
Yeah,
love that.
me either.
That makes sense. I can see that scene being one that is like, yeah. Some questions to each other. When you say sleep, do you mean at least 8 hours? We certainly
Mm.
hope so. I did like some brainstorming using ChatGPT, but I'm hardly looking at those notes right now. I'm just writing. Yeah.
Very
Um,
cool.
that's a good idea. I've never thought to do brainstorming with ChatGPT. I am often using ChatGPT to give me a list of 10 names that were common in Ireland in the 1700s. You know, like that kind of really
Mm.
specific questions that Google just doesn't cut for it.
Yeah. That's so interesting. I would
Um,
love to know how you're using it, Crystal, like to
yeah,
brainstorm. That's cool.
I would really like to know that as well. Yeah, if make a video about it. Just saying. Right, you said that yesterday with ChatGPT. Not according to Fitbit, 7.5. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. There's decent amount of sleep. You will not be murdered today. That's good. Because I want to keep writing this, and not not being murdered is a pretty good thing to be. Sounds like a gap in the market. Maybe you should make that video. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, and some love for Fireborn. Oh, I still have to read that, but I keep
Highly
hearing about it.
suggest.
It's like making a comeback, like you're saying. There's been a comparison to.
It reads like, the first season of a CW show or like a Shonda
Mm.
Rhimes show where it's so good and angsty, before it starts getting like kind of downhill, like the first season where it's just really like,
Okay,
yeah.
that's such a good way to sell it. That's a very good way to sell it. I like that. I've been enjoying YA less and less these days. Growing up is weird, right?
Mhm.
Because throughout all my 20s, I feel like I was still enjoying YA quite often. And
Yeah.
I was just bridging more into I was into both territories, and now I'm slowly just being into only adult
Withdrawing.
territory. Yeah. The last real YA fantasy series that I read betrayed me. Like there has to be some real work to be done before someone can top that bad ending. Oh my gosh. I'm
Rough.
sorry to hear that. I'm curious what it is. I'm gonna make a video once I feel better. It's a long story of my relationship with ChatGPT in this project, even though it's only been since the trouble stream. Yeah,
Interesting.
I feel like a lot of people are very reluctant to use AI at all for very valid reasons. It's just that to me, it's a better Google. It's a good assistant to have, you know? I would
Mhm.
never be like, write me this, but I will often be like, what's that call that thing people use in 1850 to do, like
Yeah.
very specific questions? Great for it. Don't know if I should name the book series. Okay.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine.
Long story short. All right, I am going to make us go into another sprint because we have been live for 52 minutes now. I'm
Sorry.
gonna. It's my fault. I have a secondary question based on the first question, and it's sort of like a
Mm.
follow up. How do you know when it is time to evolve the idea to full blown project?
Mm.
When do you make that transition? Like, what makes you think, all right, it's not just an idea that is born of that one scene in this one movie. It can now become a project I want to write.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I'm gonna let that sit over there, and I'm gonna
Mm.
present another. I've got more timers ready. Ooh, I saw Laura posted this one, and I think it's so cute.
It is so cute.
I was like, yes, and I have strawberries downstairs in the fridge. So
Me too.
there you go. So it's gonna be 35 minutes so I can do my task, and then
Excellent.
we shall see how we do.
All
All right.
right. Good luck.
Good luck, everyone. Bye. Always so moody.
Yeah. Sorry, my iPad just tried to faceplant. Okay, I think we're good.
That was a good one. Also, we've literally summoned Laura by playing. We're
Yay!
like, let's play her timers. And then he was like, I heard you were playing my timer. So,
What's this?
and I made myself a strawberry milkshake that I'm almost finished with. Because I was like,
Yay!
strawberries, and I have some in the fridge, but they weren't like looking great. So I was like, oh, those would make a great milkshake.
Oh, great idea. I actually went and chopped my strawberries during that sprint and had a little snack. So that was our strawberry sprint.
This was this was a strawberry sprint. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
How did that go for you?
Good. I mostly just finished up my journal entry. It ended up being a long one, and my water bottle dripped all over.
No.
So it's a real, Taylor Swift, my tears ricochet moment. But
It feels a bit like it's some like a mood board D vibes, you know, like how a journal should be looking. It's like it should be a bit of,
yeah, I
like
should definitely
coffee stains, something like a circle where you've put your mug on top, you know?
I should definitely take a picture and put it on Tumblr or something. It's very Tumblr
Yeah,
core. Yeah.
that's the aesthetic. I love that.
But yeah, I feel a lot better now that that's off my chest because I've just been dealing with a lot of work stress this month. And feeling
Yeah.
real depressy Jessie about it. So that
Oh my
needed to
god,
get in
we
there.
are so shit with our feelings because you're like feeling depressy Jessie about it. And I was telling Jamie earlier, I was like, yeah, it's been a bit depresso espresso this time. It's just like, what is wrong with that?
That's so funny.
Oh my god, we need therapy.
I love Depresso Espresso. It's really funny.
It's a Sabrina Carpenter song. It's like in my head all the time.
Oh
And
my god.
I am really working late sometimes because anyway, so it's been
That just that
a
is that's been the vibe so far. And I'm really hoping June turns out differently, but May, I think so to talk about what I just journaled about. I always kind of have this little ember of hope that I won't have to do corporate forever. I think a lot of us have this where we're like, maybe my books will take off. Maybe I'll get to go down to part-time and I could write part-time. You have
yes.
these daydreams. And
Yeah.
for whatever reason, this past month, I finally was like, yeah, that probably will not happen. And you probably will be doing corporate for the rest of your life. And for some reason, I just couldn't do the daydream this month.
I obviously it's like a fear, and I completely understand where the fear comes from, and I have it as well every
Mm,
now and then. The only thing I can tell you is think about something else for which you thought this will never happen, and then it did happen.
mm,
And think about how you don't fucking know. You don't know what's gonna
it's
happen.
true. It's true.
And it's usually not gonna happen with that attitude. I'm joking.
No, I mean, that's kind of how I ended my entry was I can't just sit around and be like, "Oh, I that would be great if that came to me
Hmm.
someday." I kind of have to make the decision to try,
I think
and
like
otherwise it's just gonna cause me pain.
if you've ever broken down a huge task into tiny little tasks before, then you know what you need to do for this to
Mhm.
happen. It's
Yeah.
just a question of like, if that's your plan for in 5 years' time, then what happens next month? You know, it's
Mm.
like
Yeah.
going from the big to the smaller to the smaller to the small to the okay, what do I do today? Today I continue writing because that's
Yeah.
step one to get this to happen.
Yeah.
And
It's kind of like I know I'm doing the right things. I'm just extremely I'm just the when the work is so bad, then I start searching for any means of escape where I'm like, "Get me off this hamster wheel,
yeah.
please, as soon as possible."
And every now and then, it's also okay to be depresso espresso. Every now and then,
It is
let
normal,
yourself feel,
probably.
just
Yeah.
be like, I want to feel like shit for a second. Let me listen to a sad song and be sad about it.
Yeah. I think this is my wait, I can't say it. Depresso espresso moment.
Your despresso moment, your despacito
Despresso.
moment. Yeah, all of the above.
No, my god, that was so funny. So, Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll just get that off my chest.
I think that's good to talk about it as well, because then when you talk about it, you also realize how, like, wait, that's an irrational fear. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I can work on
Mhm.
this. And obviously, nothing will happen if I don't work on it. But if I do,
Right.
something will happen, you know?
Yeah, I'll at least leave the door open, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope so.
But I understand that. I understand that.
Yeah.
I finished my task, my 35 minutes. I
Woohoo!
think, do you know what I've realized? It's so nice to be like, I can tick something off and I've done something, but I've not, like, I haven't done anything. It's just I've worked for 35 minutes on this one thing I said I would. And that's
Mhm.
the task. That's the whole productivity
Yeah,
thing.
you're kind
It
of
wasn't to
releasing.
finish a chapter or to do
Yeah,
this or to make, this many words or whatever. It was just work for 35 minutes on it. I'm
yeah.
finally seeing the light that everyone who does,
Time
hours,
blocking.
yeah, instead of words counting, have been seeing all this time.
Yeah, you're releasing yourself from the need to finish something or hit a goalpost to consider it
Yeah.
accomplished.
Yeah. It's just so nice because also there's something weird about switching your brain from one task to the next to the next. And it's like
Mm,
you just never really rest, but also you don't get bored of anything. You don't go like, oh, I'm now running out of ideas for this. Like I'm done with
mm.
this. It's like no, because I stopped in the middle and now I'm on to the next one. So
Yeah, and I feel like for me, it would make me feel extra productive to be like switching that much.
yeah. Because then you're like, I've worked on all of these things today.
Like, look at all the things that I just did.
Yeah, exactly. I also saw that Marta left earlier. Oh yeah, she said
Bye.
I have my weekly family Skype in exactly 35 minutes, so I'm going to run off, but this was fun. I had mine yesterday. We don't have a set time. We just go, when is everyone free? So everyone said bye. I think Cone Boy is trying to enter.
Oh,
I don't know if he probably tried to push the door and didn't manage to with his cone.
probably a little hard to do.
And also there was a lot of love for the strawberries. Got a strawberry blend yesterday,
Oh my
so very
gosh.
appropriate.
This is very
And
like cosmically aligned.
yes, and Laura also said I took that strawberry picture of the strawberries we turned into a fresh
Oh,
strawberry pie.
love that.
I want to see the picture of the pie. Did you put it on the Discord? If not, please do. If you have a picture of the strawberry pie. Also, hi Flora, how's it
Hi.
going? And oh my god, hello, how's it going? Oh, bless you.
Sorry, I had a tickle in my throat.
Um, I we've just gotten a bunch of new people who have arrived. That's great.
Hey.
I don't know if you guys saw this question. If you saw the first question, it was how do you get your ideas for your project? Do you have an example? And then this was the follow-up question. Feel free to answer either or both, you know? um, should we answer this question ourselves
Let's do it.
first? All right. So how do you know when it's time to evolve the idea into a full-blown project? For me, I think it's when I have been thinking about an idea consistently enough. Like
Mm,
it does come back. It doesn't mean it has to be a plot bunny. It doesn't have to be something that haunts me. But it's not like the well hasn't dried up. Like I can still think of more things to add to it. And it's
yeah.
not right, that was it, that was the full thing. If I can feel myself being able to continue evolving it into a bigger idea, and
Mm.
then the moment I have more of a plot idea, because a lot of the time it's just vibes, as we were saying,
Yeah.
and I'm like, while it remains vibes, I don't think it's ready. But the moment I'm like, oh, and then what if this happens and that person does this? Like even just small hints towards a plot, I'm like, okay, I
Mm,
need to start writing this down into a whole project of its own. Because I obviously use Notion a lot. So to me, it goes from my list of book ideas to its own self page about this new
mm.
project, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah.
100%. Yeah,
What
I
about
think for me, definitely that like multiply factor is part of it if it keeps expanding. And like a lot of times I do have ideas, but then as soon as I write them down in like a 2 sentence, here's my idea, I'm kind of like, and that's it. and that kind of
Yeah.
satisfies it. And I'm like, okay, so maybe
Yeah.
that's a short story. If I was someone who wrote short fiction, maybe I could use those, but it doesn't really feel like there's anything else to keep writing.
Yeah.
And I think for me, when it's time to evolve it is when I have an idea for an arc for the character. So if
I
I
like
know
that.
how the character is going to change or what their journey is going to be or how they're evolving, then I'm like, okay, now that's a novel.
I love that. That's the first thing that makes it into an upgrade to full idea, because I never really think about the arc first, and then I always struggle to be like, what's their flaw, and then how do you fix it? So like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, I've done a lot of projects too where I had no idea about that stuff,
Mm,
and it's hard to like put it on the character uh going backwards.
yeah,
So,
yeah. It's more difficult, yeah, to retrospectively think, okay,
mhm.
how do I add that into the entire novel when I've already worked on everything else and there's just no character arc?
Yeah,
True.
that was like my sci-fi book that you guys watched me read. Like, character was completely blank. She
Yeah.
had no
Um,
motivation.
I'm gonna put this in the chat. I've not watched the video, but we all know that one of our deities on OtherTube is probably Ellen Brock, because whatever
Mm.
content Ellen Brock posts is gospel. And I've just put the link in the chat. She posted a video on character arc meets, what is it called? The character arc meets story structure. And
Mm.
I've saved it, meaning to watch it very soon for like before I dive into another draft of anything, because I really think that would be helpful for me. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Take a
like
look
if
at
I
it.
can see synergy between those two things, then I get really excited because then the plot kind of writes itself
Yeah.
and it becomes a lot easier to figure out what should happen next.
Yeah. I like that. I should think more like that. I'm gonna try to make myself think
I
more
mean,
like that.
I'm trying. Gemstone is kind of the only book where this kind of worked out for
Yeah.
me.
But
So this is a new
also,
lesson that I've learned.
I do think that my lesson more recently has been that I do enjoy outlining if I do it to the level I'm comfortable with. And so I
Hmm.
think I just need to start outlining with a character arc in mind. And actually, when I was writing Knights of Death, I had a very clear idea of who Viv, my main character, was and what
Mm.
her character arc would be. Because to me, it was super clear that she was extremely insecure about her magic in a world where the
Right.
system is that everyone has a specialty, and she's always been um, jack of all trades, master of none. And
Yeah.
like, there's like a reference to that and everything as well, until she realizes that it's okay to be good at a lot of things, and that doesn't
Yeah.
make her bad at all of these things.
Right.
So,
Right.
so there was a bit of an arc in mind when I wrote that outline, and that's one of the rare times I've had that like epiphany at the beginning. So
Yeah.
I
It's
can see how
fun.
that would work well. Yeah. I'm gonna go through some of the answers in the comments, and I think I skipped some stuff towards the end. So we basically were talking about this YA series where Kiko said, I can't talk about it, and then said, long story short, the author apparently had no idea how to end the book series, which was very much still in the middle of the story with book 4, and just let everyone except the MC die in the last 4 pages. Not
Oh
lying.
my God.
I've clearly never read this because I don't know what this is talking about, but what?
Yeah, that's that's really
Oh,
pulling the plug.
yeah, yeah. Crystal had said, a friend told me how he breaks it writing D&D campaigns, so I wanted to see if I could break it writing this, because it doesn't like violence or spice. Okay, so that's referring, I think, um, to this project that Crystal was talking about brainstorming with 20
Oh,
people.
yes. Yes, yes.
Yes. Marta then left. Keiko has answered here immediately, because my brain doesn't stop that quick once it has an idea. I mean, all the more power to you.
Yeah,
I don't think I can,
it's
because
fantastic.
I think I probably used to do that, and that's when I considered myself more of a pantser on the spectrum from pantser to outliner.
Mm,
And now I'm a little bit more towards the outlining, side of things. So
yeah.
I feel like I need more before I start writing. But yeah. And Crystal said, when I become obsessed, when I make a mood board, a playlist, and a mood board. If it is all I can think about, it's real.
Yeah, honestly, this is probably like the true answer is like when I just
Yeah.
cannot stop thinking about it.
Yeah. When it's like plaguing your brain and just
Yeah,
basically when
because
it's a plot bunny.
yeah, and like to get to the end of a first draft takes so much energy from
Yeah.
you. Like you have to care so deeply about it. It has to kind of have enough fuel to
Yeah.
propel you through the whole draft. And sometimes you can just tell like this doesn't have enough juice behind it. Like I'm not obsessed with it.
I have never managed to do this, but some people sometimes talk about, oh, then you combine two ideas that together make a stronger idea. I'm just like,
Mm,
I wish I could be that girl, but to me, they live individually. And
yeah.
sometimes I'll abandon an idea, but not forever. And I'll be like, this exists in that universe, and I'll get back to you after I've written this book first.
Yeah. Yeah. I did think about like when I had this new plot bunny, I was like, could this become the new version of the old dark
Mm,
fantasy? Could I combine them? Could I steal elements? Is there anything I could move over? And in the end, I was kind of like, no, I don't think so. I think I just want to start
yeah,
totally fresh.
it needed its own space. Yeah.
Hmm.
And also Laura said that Roy stole her spot on her field.
Roy.
Rude, but cute. Um, and her answer was, I brainstormed on paper at the airport's much of monster names, picked one, then brainstormed different possible backstories. Then that evolved into a plot, and I found my MC.
Hmm.
I love that.
Cool.
Yeah, some monster names. Got it. And then enter two, I'm querying, so I needed a new project to pitch as my option to agents. It's a full-on project because I have a Miller note set up with main plot points, art breeder portraits, character names, etc. Yes, so I
Fun.
love that that's a big part of evolving, upgrading a something to an actual project is often like Crystal was saying as well, this is the moment you're like, I have mood boards, I have playlists. I'm starting to build up the vibes in different ways than just writing. And
Yeah.
then you know that I almost feel like when you do that exercise, it helps you figure out more stuff about your characters, your
Hmm.
plot, etc., your world building. So
Yeah.
yeah.
To me, it feels like a really fun and low pressure way to start making decisions about
Yeah.
this story without feeling like I'm committing to something. The way that
Yeah.
when you start drafting, you're like, okay, I'm telling the story this way, and now it can't be any of, it's kind of like
Yeah.
I'm making low pressure decisions about what I might want to include.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like also to me, one of the best examples of this was when I was writing Knights of Death. I was like, this is a reverse harem story. I have a bunch of men
Yeah.
and they need to be different from one another.
Yeah.
So I started mood boarding each individual mood board, and I feel like that helped me so much with each character's vibes. There,
Mm.
I was like, I have like almost like a color scheme per person, like Powerpuff Girls vibes, you know?
Yeah, I
It's like
love that so
you'll
much.
be the yellow one, and you will be the blue one.
I feel like that's so 90s, like Powerpuff Girls, Power
Power
Rangers,
Rangers, yes.
Totally Spies, like
Yeah. It's all the magical girl stuff. It's
yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
I
Even
love
Sailor
that.
Moon, all of the sailors
Yes,
had
Sailor
their own
Moon.
color theme. Oh my god.
That's like
They
deeply
are
rooted in my heart.
yes. Oh my god. So yeah, I feel like that helps because sometimes it helps you figure out what the character's mindset feels like.
Mhm.
But yes, and then also we had some word counts. Great work.
Ooh.
500 words this sprint for Crystal, 289 for Keiko. I was struggling with an argument that I have to write.
Mm.
I love writing arguments. Like I freaking enjoy it. It's just so fun.
So good
Doesn't
at it
it feel
too.
therapeutic?
Yeah, you really get to like it's one of those times where you can go back and rewrite what would be said, like instead
Yeah.
of in your head being like, oh, I wish I had said
And
this.
you're like, that is more clever to say. I'm gonna make her say this.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. Flora said, I'm currently working on proofreading my friend's MA thesis. Once this thesis is submitted, I'll get back to creative writing, but I'm super interested in that second question. It's hard.
Hmm.
Yes. And Laura said, the pure pictures are on the Troublemakers Discord. Oh, the pie pictures. Yeah, come over to on the Troublemakers Discord in the cookbook section. Just have to scroll up a little. Yes, I need to. I never really checked that side of the Discord. Actually, I should have a look. And Wendy said they come to me from the void and just smack me in the head. Usually, fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, hey, what's up?
You're doing this now.
Yeah, pretty much. Hi, Eva. How's it going?
Hi.
An answer to the second question. I'm not sure I actually know the answer to this myself since I have never finished any of my own original projects. Maybe I am starting too soon, too late. I don't know. I think you may just need a break from one when you're posing to start something else and then go back to it, because that's how I work. And I know like some people are like, no, if you've started, you need to finish that project. Personally, I was happy I did that with my first one, just because sometimes you need to tell yourself you are able to finish a project.
Yeah. Show yourself that you have the.
Then, since then, I've realized I stop at the bad guys closing. I always stop at the bad guys closing.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of like, oh my God, the big battle's going to come up. Oh my God, everything I've written doesn't make sense anymore. And then I need a break. I need to start something else. And then afterwards, I can come back to it and finish writing it.
Yeah, I love it. Progress is progress.
Yeah, exactly. Flora said they usually come from a combination of a visual, usually something in nature, plus half a sentence / lyrics that pop into my head in that moment, plus some sort of emotion. Yeah, it's a little recipe. You've got all the ingredients.
I love that. I'm like all of these things in the cauldron. Is what I'm picturing.
Exactly, and you just mix it all together, and then it becomes a project.
Yeah.
I feel like that's also a very Powerpuff Girls visual.
Oh my God, it is. I'm just really on the Powerpuff brain right now.
When it's fun. That's a great answer.
Yeah.
When it's
it
fun.
needs to be fun. If you're going to spend like 100 hours, right, on average to do a draft, it needs to be fun.
You need to be enjoying yourself. And I think the most unserious projects are the ones I write the most in. Like the ones that I'm like, I'm writing this for me and not to ever be published. Then I write a lot more in it.
Yeah.
It's Roy's spot now. Yep, it is. I like the little pirate flag. And to the first question, everywhere. One project is based on my mother's life and she's part of it. Another was inspired by an ad for a piece of jewelry. Ooh. Another came from an intentional plan to write in the genre. That's really cool. I was just saying I've never had an idea that was like intentionally made, to exist. It's always just ideas control me. I don't control ideas. And Keiko said I would go way too lost in finding the fitting pictures to make a mood board. So it's more playlists for me. Nice.
Yeah, I did do a solid 2 hours yesterday on this Pinterest mood board.
I love doing that though, because then you still know, even though you're procrastinating, you are building moods. So it's a good type of procrastination.
I had a fantastic time. I did not want to go to sleep last night.
Fair. I love that. I think that's a great time.
It's fun.
And Wendy said, addendum, the void being my chaos brain, full of random spots of information that I didn't know I remembered. A two addendum, it could also be the fact I struggle with focusing even when obsessed. Yeah, I have the same issue. Do you ever try to trigger your maladaptive daydream to get back to that scene and it just won't work? Or it keeps going to somewhere else. You're like, no, let's not go back. That wasn't it.
Yeah. I even on the ideas that really just had me in their clutches, I've never been able to go on a writing tear where I write all day or I write all weekend and I can't I have a 2-hour limit no matter how obsessed I am, and then I'm losing focus and I'm gonna have to go do something else.
Yeah, I find the same issue. And good question. What is finished to you, actually? Hi, Hudson. This is our third part of the lazy gang. Still not on screen with us. I'm joking. No pressure. YouTube is struggling again. Was it? Did I?
Seems okay to me.
What did something happen? Tell us if we were robot voices or anything of the sort.
Yeah.
I have completed fan fiction, but that's when you have a group of people mutually obsessed with the same character couples, so they help push you through. I don't really
Mm.
have that for my own characters. I think that in that case, you need to get earlier critique partners
Hmm.
into it, because then you have people you can talk about these characters with, and then you can obsess yourself over these characters, and they'll know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Um, so I
Let
like
someone
that.
be your cheerleader.
Yeah, exactly. Hi, Emma. How's it going? And
Hi.
thank you very much for putting the for clicking the like button. I can't speak anymore. Eva, that's the best. I love when I want to stay up late because creating is so fun. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the dream. Example for A1 hiking. I saw this cool mushroom growing over this tree, and I felt like someone was being chased, and suddenly thought, when we found you, your body was still warm. And
Oh.
yeah, idea. Oh my god.
Wow. The line of thinking here is so interesting. Like
I love
the
that.
points that you bounced through to
I
get
love
to
that.
this end point is
I've
so fun.
definitely I've definitely had moments when I'm walking Edgar when I go like, what if he found a dead body? What if I wrote a story where the dog finds the dead body and then it leads to the wrong person finding the dead body, and etc. etc.
Hmm.
But but I love the mushroom. That was
Yeah.
the inspiration. Um
Wow.
and Keiko said, I just got to use the word bade in my writing and I feel so fancy right now. What does bade
Mm.
mean? As in like
That's like, oh, it's like a old word. Like I bade you to come visit or something.
right,
Like
okay.
I think I could be using it incorrectly.
Okay, past tense of bid. Okay, because I was thinking like of bid, but I was like, I don't think that's okay. I think my brain somewhat made the connection and figured it out,
I
but
would, oh, bid
subconsciously told me
farewell.
to bid farewell. Yes, bidded.
I would feel fancy too.
I like that. I love that. I did not have initially a third question, but I was just thinking of one, so I'm like literally gonna
Ooh, do a
type some.
little typey typey.
I'm being secretive about it.
I'm ready to be surprised.
Or I don't know if it makes sense grammatically, but I'll just put it up and explain myself. Add banner, and then click on it. There we go. Okay. Would you rather
Oh,
be in a situation where you have so many ideas that it's actually too many, like you don't know what to focus on, and you never have one
mm.
you're like, that's my next project, like it's too many? Or would you rather have too little ideas and be like, I'm only focused on this one project and I don't really have anything else lined
Oh,
up afterwards,
this
you
is
know?
such a good question. This is such a good question.
I'm gonna again let it simmer while we so you guys you can answer, but give me your reasons. That's what I want to know.
Mm,
Like
hmm.
tell me why. Tell me
Yeah,
why.
we're gonna dig in there.
Yes. And I have one more timer at the ready, also from Jessica. Present share screen. Which actually, I don't know why. I feel like that's the right vibes after we talked about mushrooms.
Yeah, this is totally like it's beautiful, but there is a dead body covered in mushrooms, like in the fog.
Yes, it's like eerily beautiful. Like it's beautiful, but you're human and the Fae are looking at you from behind the
Mm.
trees and thinking about murdering you, you know?
Ooh, I love this.
So yeah, not to creep anyone out. So on this note, I finished my round 2 of my task, so I'm going back to the first,
Amazing.
which is to revise Lockhart and Beckett. So I'm going back to that. So I'm excited.
Excellent. I'm gonna
All
keep
right,
maladaptive daydreaming.
nice. I like that. All right, everyone ready? Let's go. Beep, beep, beep. I realized I wasn't playing any sound, or at least I didn't hear any. So I was like, oh, I should try and wake people up without going boom.
I was completely in another world.
I hope I didn't scare you, Eddie.
No, that was very pleasant.
Was it a good world? Was it the Plot Bunny world?
Yeah, it was fun. I kept, doing my Pinterest thing, and now I'm on Canva making banners for like my character sheets in Dabble because I haven't used it in quite a while, so I realized they have some new features.
Oh,
And so they allow
banners.
you to like upload some images and make your character sheets a little pretty. So obviously I'm
That's
doing that.
great. That is very cool. I like that. That is very
Yeah.
cool. Ooh, also, just quickly saying hi, hi Zainab, how are you?
Hello.
And I have finished my other task, obviously, because it's just time. That's all
Excellent.
it is. I don't have to do anything. But I can sort of calculate as well my progress for that one because it's the Lockhart and Beckett one.
Hmm.
And I'm working through comments I made on a PDF the first time I reread it. And I had 382 comments.
And
To
these
be
are
honest,
all yourself?
they're like typos and things like that as well. And most of the ones I'm changing now are those the
Okay.
typos, like change that word for this. There's a lot that I literally like put this in italics, and there's like 10 comments that are the same one, or
Yeah.
change someone names. And so that's why they build up quite well. But there's some I'm ignoring because they are bigger changes that I want to do later.
Mm.
So
Hmm.
things like, ooh, could I actually reuse this character? Because it's a bit sad that we got introduced to them and then we don't see them again. Things like that.
Oh.
So I had left myself some notes that I will at some point write down somewhere else so that I have
Hmm.
a list of thoughts for the bigger changes.
How
But
long
yeah,
ago was that reread that you did where you did those comments?
so I don't know exactly when I did the reread, but when I exported the PDF, it says 2022. So that was 2 years ago. That's
Do you feel
crazy.
like you still agree for the most part with past you?
Yeah, I think the comments I've got make sense, and I'm probably gonna have more ideas as I go. I'm
Yeah.
glad in a way that I haven't touched this in a while because I'm very excited to get back into it. Like it's almost like I've let it simmer for so long now that I'm like, yes, I still like this story. It's not like it's gone to the this is a shit. Why would I even try to?
Good. I'm glad it
Yeah,
still excites you.
yeah, exactly. It is still exciting. I guess we can answer our question. Would you rather have too many ideas or too little ideas?
Oh, so tough because I
I know.
see the drawbacks of
Both,
both.
both have their own problems, is the thing. I
Hmm.
guess I feel like to me, I would struggle more to summon an idea
Yeah.
than I would to develop one that's already existing. So I think I would pick too many ideas because some people I feel like are able to be like, okay, if I put myself in the right conditions and have everything that needs to be in place for me to get inspiration, inspiration will come.
Hmm.
I'm not like that. I'm more of an lightning struck, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like my answer to this really changes depending on if I'm purely looking at this from like a writing for my enjoyment mindset or
Mhm.
if I'm looking at it as a I'm wanting to be published mindset.
Yeah.
And like those are different things, because I do feel like I fall into the category of often feeling like I have too little ideas.
Mm.
But that all comes from publishing pressures and like being nervous about approaching an agent if I don't have, a catalog of like two or three other projects that I could bring to the table. Whereas like if I'm purely talking about like writing for my own enjoyment, like
Yeah.
I could work on one book for the rest of my life and get a ton of satisfaction, and I always find writing rewarding, and I
Yeah.
don't think I would necessarily like feel the need to have other projects if it was purely just for my own diversion?
Yeah. I do feel like there is a sort of weird pressure to be like, yeah, if you chat to an agent one day, they might be like, what else do you have? And
Mhm.
does it fall into the same category or genre? Sorry, I've just noticed my door is a little bit open. I think
Is
someone's
there
probably
an
touched it. I don't think he's
is
there.
there a doggy lurking around?
No, it's 5:30 here, and so it's his dinner time, so he's probably downstairs getting fed. But yeah. Yeah, I think to me, like the idea of having too many ideas, I understand the decision paralysis, and that's what I'm trying to battle right now. It's
Mhm.
by doing this writing this experiment of being like, I'm going to work 30 minutes on this, then 30 minutes on that, and then 30 minutes on this. And I almost feel like forcing myself to sit down and brainstorm both my plot bunny idea and the book 2 for the Art of Summoning Demons
Mm.
outline is finally making me think about what I could do with these, and otherwise they would just be floating forever and nothing would
Yeah.
happen. So
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely, like, if you have too many things going at the same time, like, some things have to be stagnant just by the nature of you being a human being, and you can only work on one thing at a time.
yeah. And I do feel like I admire the ability of being hyper focused on one topic, one thing until you're done with it, and before
Mhm.
you move on to the next. But I don't think my brain can do that.
Fair enough.
We were last at the bade the farewell comments, and then we got a comment from Wendy saying the ideas do come from everywhere, don't they? A moment combines with your unique mind, and boom, a whole new world starts to form. Yes, yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Uh, and Keiko hadn't too many right before Keiko had to leave as well, I think. She did say I can recycle if I don't need stuff right now. It's what I do a lot recently.
Mm.
That is pretty cool. Eva said, I already live with too many.
Yeah.
Ideas give me dopamine. That's my why. I
Oh,
love it.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I do thrive on the maladaptive daydreaming
The
stuff.
escapism of it all is really fun.
Exactly. And then Keiko had to hop off because going
Have
fangirling
fun.
with others to see if they show trailer at the Xbox Summer Game Fest stream. Nice, enjoy. And thank you for coming. Crystal then answered, too many. I'm usually a one project at a time girly, but I'm really enjoying being swept away by this project, even though I should work on the main series. Is that an answer? I don't know. Yes, that is an answer. That's the thing, is like, do you enjoy being like dragged from one idea to the
Mm.
next, that you can't actually focus on the one thing you were meant to work on? Or would you rather because there are advantages and disadvantages to both. um I feel like having too little ideas sounds bad, but also it means you're focusing on the main thing you were working on.
Yeah.
So
For me, there's like an element of fear with not having a lot of ideas because although it means that I am very dedicated with my current project and like I am able to like get through drafts, at the same time it's like, but what is after this? Am I gonna be
yeah.
adrift without anything when this
No.
is done, you know?
It seems like your mind just has correct timing. Like your mind literally goes like, all right, now you're done. Time to rest. Oh, here's another idea.
I would love if it kept going in this sort of pattern, like, this is good.
It might just. It might just. And Flora answered, I do have too many ideas, but I quite enjoy that. Some ideas are better suited to just sparking some joy in the moment, or living in my head for a while, or being turned into a poem. That sounded like a poem in itself, that answer.
It did.
Very prettily answered. Zainab said, if for novel ideas too little, if I have so many ideas, I might get overwhelmed and stuck on what I should write. But if I have little ideas, then it helps me follow through with the project. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. It's that dichotomy between, do I want to be like, I'm overflowing with, inspiration and I could write anything next, or do I want to be able to actually finish this project?
Hopefully, we're right down the middle between these two
I
extremes.
think it's between the two. It's, for ideas for an individual story, too many ideas because then I can filter through what will actually be good for the story and leave the rest. That's cool. Yeah, that's what we were saying earlier about how some people are able to take several different ideas to implement it into that one
Hmm.
project they're working on. I don't think I'm able to do that very well. I often feel like my ideas are very compartmentalized in my head and they match that vibe only. And if that novel is not the same
Yeah.
vibe, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
But yeah. Um, and continuation of the answer from earlier, I would like to have the resolve to keep working on one story idea from start to finish each time. But alas, I think fewer ideas wouldn't necessarily lead to that either with my brain.
Mm.
That's fair enough. Oh my god, Crystal, chapter 9.
Crushing it. Oh my word. You're gonna be
That
like a
you
third
started
of the way through
yesterday.
this book.
Are you fast drafting it? You fast drafting it. Um, got some more outlining done. Nice, very nice. Zainab said, I'm still having my morning coffee. I stayed up until 4 a.m. last night on FaceTime with a
Oh
friend.
my
No regrets.
gosh.
You know what? I wish I was young again and could do this again because my body cannot take it
That would
anymore.
kill me dead.
Yeah, it would kill me dead. Yeah, exactly. That would not only kill me dead, but it will also make me depresso espresso for the rest of
Yeah.
the day because
Yeah.
I would just be like, I I will when I'm tired, I will read bad stuff into anything. I will be like, I will
Yeah.
take this in the worst way possible I could possibly take it.
Yeah. I like the older I get, the more I really get like overtired toddler energy.
God, I love that. I'm tired.
You know,
Toddler
when
army.
you're like, you have a toddler that you're like, if you just took a nap, you would be a completely different attitude. Like, you just need
Yeah,
to sleep. Like, okay, they're there. I feel that about myself a lot.
it's puppy energy. It's like
Hmm.
play, 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 crash.
Yeah.
But I plan to outline a few chapters today. Nice. Good luck with that, because my brain on that little sleep could not. It
Oh my
just could
God,
not.
no, I would be couching it.
Unless you did get the sleep, you just, moved it to have a bad sleep pattern,
Yeah.
which I did. To be fair, I cannot judge. I used to have the worst sleeping pattern in uni. Like,
Uh-oh.
I would, when I lived in Scotland, I would like sometimes stay up until I was like, oh, I think the sun is rising and birds are singing. I need to go to sleep. It's bad.
Oh no. I think I only pulled one all-nighter in my whole college career.
But it
Um,
wasn't an all nighter. It was like I then would sleep until like 12, It was
yeah.
literally delayed. So terrible. Absolutely terrible. Flora says that sounds like a cozy time. Wendy says that is a hard question. I definitely have a lot of ideas, and sometimes I worry I'll lose them before I get
Mm,
to them. But it would be scary to not have any other ideas. Yes, I think the reason why I would pick too many is the fear. I would be like, what's going on? Why can't my brain come up with anything else? And
yeah.
to me, having constant ideas all the time is part of who I am. So I feel like I would just be like, okay, something's deeply wrong.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I was um for those years after I graduated school. I had
Yeah,
nothing. Like if I had had ideas, I probably would have been writing, but my, mental health was really shit. My life was really shit, and I
I was
just
gonna
wasn't in
say
a
like
place for
the mental
inspiration.
health is very real. It's like it
Yeah.
helps your mind come up with inspiration.
And I tried a lot of the time over those years to have like intentional
Mm,
ideas to, and I was really hunting for anything that was interesting, like hunting for anything that would spark, and it was just like
yeah.
dead. It was just like bleh.
Oh. Yeah, and I feel like maybe it's like an injury. It's like your mental health is like you can
Mhm.
hurt it and then you have to slowly go through like what is that called? Movement therapy,
Yeah.
yeah, and just get back into the motion. And once you start writing again, suddenly you get more ideas flowing in again, etc. And you build
Yeah.
it back up until you're like, okay, I'm back to how I was before.
Yeah, that's very much how it was. I had to go all the way back to square one and basically
Yeah.
like learn how to write again.
What's interesting is I think I started writing at my lowest mental health wise, it was because of that I was like, I need something else in my life to bring me back joy. And so it was what was fueling me at the beginning. And I
Yeah.
felt very much like, those French poets from the 1900s who would be like, everyone is depressed and that's why they write beautiful poetry.
Just the depresso espresso. Espresso
Yeah,
depresso.
just depresso espresso. That's who we are. Long distance besties. So we had a lot to catch up on. Oh, I love that. Don't know if you're interested in that, but I keep in touch with my long distance bestie by using Marco Polo, which Anna also has. It's an app that sends video messages, but you can be on it at the same time as the person who's recording the message, so you can see them live. You can't answer them. You're just literally seeing them. It's their message. It's not like a chat. And you can also not be there at the same time and see the message later and then answer it later. It's a bit weird. It's like voice messages on WhatsApp or like text or whatever, except it's just video instead. It's the equivalent.
It's like I think of it like the old days where you would like leave a message on someone's answering machine. Like that's what it feels like to me.
Exactly. And it's so fucking funny because me and Flo, my best friend, we constantly leave each other the longest, rambliest shit ever. And then we apologize 5,000 times throughout the message. But I'm so sorry, my brain is just a jumble right now. So I'm figuring out what I'm saying.
You're getting all this.
Yeah, exactly. Like sometimes we'll take notes of what the other is saying. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to remember all these topics. Zainab says, as a side note, I only have 2 projects that I'm actively pursuing, Project Orbit and Project Unity. I have 2 other story ideas, but I only work on them passively when I want to procrastinate. I kind of like that. That's a good method, I think.
Yeah.
AKA brain rots, AKA plot bunnies. You're right on theme about what we're talking about. Mars told me they think I'll have it done by Tuesday. I'm just writing it non-stop.
Wow, Crystal, I love this for you so much.
Can't stop, never stopping. I did get the sleep. Lol, slept from 4 to 11. It's almost noon now. Nice. I'll definitely look into Marco Polo. Yeah, have a look. I find it quite useful to keep in touch with long distance friends because that's unfortunately more and more of my friendships now.
Same. Yeah, same.
Yeah. But on that note, I think we've done all the comments and we've been on for 2 hours 50. So I feel like it's probably time to end the stream.
Yeah.
And oh my God, Crystal, it's sitting at 11.
Oh my God.
I love this for you. I love this journey for you. That's great.
We need some of that Crystal energy.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I feel like I've been quite productive, so that was a good stream.
Me
for
too.
The listener,
Yeah, we did great.
Yeah. Yay us.
Yay us.
So I guess we'll see you guys in a month or so. We don't have a date yet, but
No, sometime in July, I'm sure.
Thank you guys for coming. I don't think we need outros. People know who, like everyone in the chat knows who we are.
If you're still here listening to us at this point.
Exactly. So I don't have like a outro thing still. It's been years and I still don't. So I'm just gonna cold end stream. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Clicking.